Last night I finally saw the movie Us, Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out. And let me say, it's by far the weirdest comedy I've ever seen in my life. I don't do reviews that often on the channel, and it's been a very long time since I've last done one, but I kind of want to talk about the movie Us just because it's been, massively critically acclaimed, and I cannot figure out why. So let's start off with the things that I did like about the movie. What I did like about the movie was the score to start. The score was amazing. The music to build tension in scenes when there scarcely was any was really impressive. It was really well done. I enjoyed it. I really liked the music and the ambiance that it set and the tone that it helped create. Second, I was gonna say acting, the actor's ability to act. But realistically, I only like Gabe, and I say that because that's the only character's name I can remember, so that must mean that he was the best on the screen. Gabe was the father. They kind of focused on him a lot in the first act, and then he suddenly took a back seat and was just the side character that would cut in, interject every now and again to raise opinions and kill a bad guy. And then it was mostly about the main mother protagonist, because it's all about her, baby. The comedy in the movie landed more times than it would miss, which was always it always landed. The entire movie was hysterical. Start to finish, I couldn't stop laughing at almost every single scene that presented itself. The only time I took the movie seriously was the ending. During this big fight, there's a big orchestrated song and dance to it. Literally, there's a dance to it. And it was really impressive, really well done, and I thought it was just really, really cool to see. And then we can now move on to the bad, the stuff I did not like about the movie. So I saw the movie with my friend Dane. Maybe that's why I could not take the movie seriously. It might be why I laughed so much. But there was so much goofy shit in this movie that I could absolutely not take seriously no matter how hard I tried. The other people, the ones that are us. They're us. There's a copy of us that exists, and they just want to kill all the originals. They're all crazy in their own right. They all have weird talents, and they all have they put weird points in their spec tree that a lot of them have a level 30 in dexterity, and it's just really jarring to see. So there's another family in the movie that gets murdered. Go figure. In a movie about murder. And one is just really acrobatic for no reason. So they walk into a room. I'm gonna use very broad terms. The characters in the scene walk into the room, and they turn a corner, and then you see some legs and some feet in the background in the bathroom that do a little roll to the ground. You watch it flop over. And I think it was supposed to be creepy, oh no, watch out, it's right behind you. But I could not take that seriously. Or when they are walking down the hallway, suddenly the person they're trying to get to does a fucking cartwheel across the doorway. It does just a full cartwheel across, and I almost laughed out loud. I almost LOL'd right there in the theater, but I was afraid that I would get yelled at and be thrown out. But realistically, everyone else in the audience, you could hear snickering and making noises. It was more like nobody laughed because they didn't think they'd be allowed to laugh. They'd be escorted out if they started to laugh at this supposed to be turbo serious movie. But it seems like it seems more like a dark comedy, because half the movie just takes weird, funny turns, and I don't think it's supposed to. But it was more like Happy Death Day than it was I was gonna say Get Out, I assume, because I never saw Get Out, so I had no anticipation for how good Jordan Peele was as a director and writer walking into it. I just knew that everybody loved Get Out, and apparently everybody loves Us, and I can't figure out why, besides the fact that it was some of the best comedy work I have ever seen. For being a thriller/horror kind of movie, what it was supposed to be, the scariest thing that happened in the entire movie was when a woman walked into the theater late and walked in front of the projector in the back, and it scared me because I didn't realize this was a 3D experience when suddenly there's a shadow man running across the screen. That was the scariest, most unsettling moment of the whole movie. It was was a comedy. It was just a comedy. The other thing, like the thing that threw me for a loop was how hard they set up this big mystery. Like, why is there a copy of all of these people? Why are they doing what they're doing? What is the goal? And it was supposed to be a lot of you don't know. It might be up to your interpretation, but then literally the last 15 to 20 minutes is just a straight exposition of why and how and it was there's so many things left unanswered, and it's not about your own interpretation. It's more about it seemed like there needed to be a weird twist at the ending that makes no sense, and then there was the big final reveal that if you paid attention to even 30 seconds of the trailer and you piece together where they were going with it, you could tell 7 minutes into the movie what the big twist was. One more thing I want to throw in before the spoilers, however, is the comedy didn't always work. There's one scene where they're arguing about who's driving, and the 15-year-old girl's like, no, I'm driving. The mom's like, no, get out, I'm driving, it's not safe. And she's like, well, you're this, and you can't drive because of this thing. And then she's like, I also have the highest kill count in the family. And then the dad in the passenger seat's like, no, I got 2 kills, and you have a 1, and 1 because this person, turns out they weren't dead at all, and then I had to kill him, so I have the most kill count. And meanwhile, down the road, the person that's hunting them is just staring at them. The killer's down the road, and there's no sense of urgency to the matter. I thought the scene was funny, but for a flow standpoint, it made no sense because they might be they're being hunted. They're not safe. And another thing is, they came from the underground, this place where they were born to be just like them. Apparently, they're invincible. Because at one point, he smashes a baseball bat across one of them's skull, and then he gets up. Another person, the character, hits him with a fire poker directly in the skull, and he's just laughing and walking at him. Being crazy doesn't make you invincible. Or they flip him off a balcony and they smash through a glass table and they're dead for 15 minutes, and then they come back and the body's gone. They just were ridiculously overpowered. They put a buff in the newest patch of the movie, and they were unkillable until the plot decided that they needed to be killed. And right after these grisly, brutal murders these kids committed, they would just sit around. They were watching TV of a news report around a freshly killed corpse, and they were all fine with it. No trauma. They were sitting at a table drinking water and eating Fruit Loops a minute prior to that. It had a weird tone shift between supposed to be super serious and dark comedy, and it didn't find its identity throughout the movie, which was fine by me. I thought it was hilarious, but all these reviews are it's terrifying and it's scary and it sets a tone and it's groundbreaking. No, it seemed like a very generic movie that couldn't find its tone or explain its plot points besides, we need a big twist, boys. Throw it in there even though it makes no sense to the plot. For those of you who want to know the spoilers, right now, here's the spoiler. I'll put a timestamp to skip ahead to the ending, but we're going to talk about the movie real quick. So get out now, get out now so all of us can explore the ending. The whole plot of the movie is the mother met her own doppelganger creation at the beginning of the movie when she was a child, and then she's just been hunting her down ever since for this big, grandiose moment where they all rise from the underground and take over. However, that was the big twist, was they were leaving after she finally kills her significant duplicate. She kills herself in a sense, but it turns out that when she met herself as a child, the child that was underground rose to the surface and took her place. And that's why she doesn't speak in the movie for her childhood. The parents can't get her to talk. You need to make her dance and draw and all of that. And that was it. That was the big dramatic twist that if you paid attention, you could figure out in 10, 15 minutes of the intro. But for some reason, this big focus was on this campaign in 1986, I think it was, the Hands Across America. And it's people in red holding hands across the entire of America to to raise for charity. I think it was a campaign for charity for helping Americans. This is a great explanation. So that's their big trigger moment. They're building up so they can hold hands across the entire country, and they all have these gold scissors that I cannot figure out why, because they made it seem like maybe you can only kill your duplicate with those scissors to sever this bond, this link that they keep referring to, but they never do that. Like they just start killing with tomahawks and fire pokers and all that, and they never explain why they just have a billion pairs of scissors, or who created the duplicates, or why, or what they try to explain what they were doing, but it makes no sense. And once they do the big reveal about how the mother was replaced, like as a child, with her duplicate, the entire movie's motives make no sense unless you decide that the mother that rose up, the child that came up and replaced her, actually decided that she cared about her family and wanted to keep her safe, and that's why they decided they need to run away to Mexico, was because this is only happening in America. And did they, I don't know, did they have to kill their others, sever their links? Because they just sound like they started killing indiscriminately, and they started holding hands across America. Is that the final goal? Is that it? Are the people that weren't murdered just gonna gun them down because they're not fighting back anymore? They ruined the part that kept the mystery alive, and then left the mysterious part that required an explanation open-ended. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough. Maybe this movie wasn't for me. I don't know. But it did not make any sense. And there was one scene where the child likes magic, and his underground version is a pyro. He's a monster. And they somehow they're driving away in what I assume is a random direction. And then they just get to a street and they say, wait, that's our car. Is that our car burning in the road? And then the mother's like, no, it's him. And she gets out to go kill him. And they find out it's a fire trap that leads up to the car. And he lights a match. He's about to light the fuel to blow up the car with everybody in it. But then the above child walks out and T-poses to assert dominance and walks backwards. So then the duplicate also puts his hand up and walks backwards into the burning car wreckage and dies. It's the only instance in the entire movie where they say that for some reason the underground version has to duplicate the top version. I can't explain it. I've thought about it. Maybe the underground version just respected the top version and just was trying to be more and more like him, or what. But the kid that's 10 or 12 understood it was a trap, got out, and then knew to do this T-pose for your dominance thing, and that was it. And then the child burns to death, and that's that death scene. And that's the synopsis of what was confusing with the plot. But that being said, I do recommend you see it. Maybe for cheap. I'm gonna give this movie a 55%. It wasn't great, and it wasn't terrible, but I would recommend seeing it if it's for cheap. Don't go out and see it for $15. Don't buy it for $20 on the Blu-ray DVD combo. Maybe rent it from Amazon for $2 in 6 months. But that's going to do it for me. I'm not a movie review critic. You may completely disagree. Let me know your opinion of Us in the comment section, and let me know if I should watch Get Out, because I still haven't, and it seems good, but hey, I'll leave that up to you. But thank you so much for watching. If you see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell button. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers, so it'd be really cool to hit that milestone. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, where I publish a lot of teaser trailers for upcoming videos, check that out. And my Twitter, where I like to do a lot of the shit posting comments. But that's going to do it for me, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see all you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone. I'm not a movie review critic. Everyone's going to hate me.